here at York Hall. Tommy Fletcher up against Poland's Viktar Chvarkou at cruiserweight. Refereed by Amy Pugh, the first female pro referee in Britain. Your commentary team, Paul Dempsey and Richie Woodall, after our MC, Dev Sani.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Fight Night Live on TNT Sports. We are back at British Boxing's spiritual home of York Hall for a night of championship boxing. It's all being brought to you by Frank Warren on behalf of Queensbury, along with their great sponsors, 32 Red and Unibet. Our first contest of the evening is scheduled for 6 rounds in the cruiserweight division. Your steward in charge is Des Rees, your timekeeper is Mark Shannon, and your referee, Amy Pugh from Enfield. Introducing first in the red corner, tonight he competes in his 18th professional contest. At the weigh-in, he scaled 14 stone, 8 pounds, and tonight he wears the red shorts. Please welcome from Warsaw, Poland, Viktar Chvarkou. And across the ring in the blue corner, he is unbeaten with a record of 7 wins and no defeats, with 6 big wins coming by way of knockout. At the weigh-in, he scaled 14 stone, 8 pounds, and tonight he wears the black and orange shorts. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing one of the hardest-hitting cruiserweight talents in the country. Please welcome from Thetford, Tommy the Norfolk Nightmare Fletcher!
Boxers, listen to my commands at all times. Watch your head, no hitting behind the head, no low blows. When I say break, step back, okay? Protect yourselves at all times, touch gloves.
The referee, Amy Pugh. Welcome along, everybody. Thank you, Dev. Thank you, Becky, and a very, very good evening. Everybody watching with us on TNT Sports at the start of a very big few weeks for boxing fans. So let's see first up if Tommy Fletcher can set the tone in terms of excitement once more tonight. We know to guard against the hype. His own team are guarding against the hype, but just for reference as we get underway here, 7 fights in, 6 stoppage wins, and that's an even better strike rate so far than Moses Itama, the young heavyweight around whom there is such excitement, justifiably. But we say, Richie, let's keep watching as Tommy keeps on turning up and keeps on learning.
Big prospect indeed, Tommy Fletcher. Got the height and reach, hasn't he? Got the natural physical tools to really go places in professional boxing. Tall, 6'7", southpaw. He can punch as well. Good boxer. And he's got a very good team behind him. Mark and Jimmy Tibbs in his corner. So yes, he really has a big future indeed, Paul.
Viktar Chvarkou is here this evening to try to give him some rounds. He's got a bit of know-how. One might say he's fought out of his class on a few occasions, including against Denis Bakhtov, and that was actually at heavyweight, Richie, but he's put it in the bank. I know he didn't win it, and there's 1 or 2 others like that he's been drafted in, served up to, and he at least gave the opponent some work.
Yeah, I mean, he's a tough guy, Chvarkou. He's fought up at heavyweight. He's finding it difficult to get past Fletcher's jab here, but also just early on he got caught with a lovely right hook, and that's probably the shot he's got to watch out for as he comes forward. Tommy Fletcher, if he misses with his left hand, he comes back with his right hook. There it was, there, right on cue. So that's the shot he's got to watch out for, Chvarkou.
As I think many of our viewers are aware by now, southpaw style. Tommy Fletcher, steady and composed to get us underway here at the York Hall Bethnal Green. He's casing him for the left hand, isn't he, Rich, all the time in this first round, but Chvarkou is aware of that. keeping his own right hand up.
Chvarkou is just trying to stay on the outside. He's edging forward, which is probably sensible actually, as regards to just walking forward and being clumsy over that front foot. That's when he'll get caught with a big shot. But yeah, his problem is getting past that jab of Fletcher's to start with. And then, as we said, Fletcher's got decent power in his hooks as well. So Chvarkou really has got his problems here.
Going back and away into the neutral corner, and he'd be quite happy to see the end of the opening round. Guiding Tommy Fletcher through once more tonight here at the York Hall Bethnal Green, the family firm of Tibbs. Young Mark inside the ropes, the father Jimmy Tibbs, a huge personality in British boxing over the last 3 decades, also on hand. And they were very pleased with the work, Richie, the boxing work. That phrase, boxing, was used about 6 times during that interval.
Yeah, they were pleased indeed. They're pleased with Fletcher's jab, and there it is again there, you see, because that sets everything up, gives him the confidence, measures the distance to land his left hand afterwards. But that's why Mark Tibbs was pleased in the corner, because he keeps popping that jab out, and that's the problem. As we've said, Chvarkou has got to get him past that lead.
He is running a bit short of ideas already, to be quite honest with you. Sometimes when that happens, Richie, the next step is to think, right, I'll go for this. They're paying me to be here, and I need to do something. That would be a mistake, I think, against Tommy, because he will pick him off.
Well, that's probably the worst thing he can do, is he comes over the front foot. If he does that a bit clumsily, then he'll walk onto a shot, and Fletcher will probably prefer that. That's why Mark Tibbs wants him to keep jabbing, keep measuring the distance, don't overreach. See, that's not a bad attack there from Chvarkou. He kept those gloves nice and high. But when he commits Chvarkou, then he's got to get his hands back up nice and high, Paul, because he's going to get caught as he's coming forward.
Tommy Fletcher standing all of 6'7", and at times, Richie, he covers about 8 feet of canvas, doesn't he,
Yeah.
with his stance?
Yes, he does indeed, and we know he's got a decent left uppercut also. But breaking the opponent down with the jab and making him come over the front foot has to be a priority for Fletcher, and he does it very well.
What I'm liking about this early on, Richie, compared to the first 2 or 3 times we have seen him, is Tommy is in absolutely no rush tonight.
Yeah, and that probably comes from the corner as well, and the experience that he's had. That's a lovely little shot. Short left uppercut on the inside there, caught Chvarkou, and he's felt it, and he hasn't really recovered. Good punch, that.
Started to put a bit more behind those shots in the second round, Fletcher. And again.
Yeah, again, Paul. Little short left uppercut on the inside. You can see the body language of Chvarkou, the way he goes back. You know, he's felt that punch.
He's found that little weak spot, hasn't he, again and again. Bit borderline, as Amy Pugh says there, the referee. May I just add, she really does know her boxing, and it goes all the way back to Islington ABC in North London, where she was a boxer herself. Before coming into the pro ranks, she was well known on the amateur circuit as a referee for, I'm told, more than 6 years.
It's good to see that she's not scared to tell Tommy Fletcher to keep those punches up, because they are borderline, but she says, I cut that out, so that's good refereeing.
It's all flowing very nicely indeed from Tommy Fletcher early on, in no rush, showing us what he's got tonight. There you go.
He's ready to go, yeah? So suck it up and set it up, right? Next one. He's ready to go, He's ready to go, yeah? Chip in with the singles, but you don't need to come off him, yeah? But when you are locking arms, you've got to be tight with your own ones. Cheers, Tom.
Couple of swings I missed.
You've only got no zoom there. Zoom, whip. Yeah, front hand, yeah? Yeah, just the 2s and 3s are going to do it. And if they don't, get behind a jab. That's it, closing down, making work.
So we're 2 rounds into this as we welcome you back to the York Hall Bethnal Green, on his tippy toes and ready to go at any moment. Given the man who's in the ring right now is Royston Barney-Smith. He is in action next, a huge talent in action over 8 rounds, or scheduled at least, after Tommy Fletcher has done his bit in the ring tonight. Fletcher in this 6th rounder at cruiserweight against Viktar Chvarkou from Poland. Amy Pugh again letting everybody know who's in charge. Incidentally, Rich, this is not her first contest of the night, and I thought she was absolutely expert in the stoppage win for Ben Fail, just as you were making your way in to the arena. There was a big crowd in for that fight, and everybody was, I think, attuned into the fact she judged it perfectly.
Big shots now going in from Fletcher, starting to plant his feet a little bit more, looking for that left hand, and the right hook on the inside. There it is there. We heard the corner, Mark Tibbs say, keep jabbing away and then set up this left uppercut. So they've seen it as well, that Chvarkou is a little bit suspect now downstairs, so they want Fletcher to set that shot up behind his jab, measure the distance, move the feet into range, and then whip the shot underneath.
Chvarkou is starting to feel the pace a little bit for me. He's not really very light on his feet compared to Tommy Fletcher anymore, dragging himself around. And I think maybe, Rich, the next question is, can Fletcher just up the pressure little by little?
Up the pressure, go through the gears a little bit, and just try and find that punch. But I think Chvarkou, he's waiting for it now himself, and he's keeping his elbows tucked in, so it might be a little bit more difficult to land the shot. Again, there's one there, probably borderline, but the referee is taking a good look. She's happy. That's a good punch there from Tommy Fletcher.
He's doing as much thinking in there tonight for me, Tommy Fletcher, as actually boxing and fighting, Richie. There are so many elements that can be ignored when a kid turns pro in a blaze of glory as he did and starts blowing people out of there.
Yeah.
But in the long run, there has to be so much more to his game, doesn't there?
Yeah, there does. You're right, Paul. Probably the Tommy Fletcher 3 or 4 fights ago, he'd have really gone for it and taken more risks and may have walked onto a shot himself. But here you can see he's thinking about the situation, he's stepping back, he's created a bit of space for himself and just relaxing. And he's a lot calmer, which is good to see, and that's experience. And again, that comes from the corner also.
No doubt the pressure is being cranked up, though. And again, he's not able to move out of harm's way, Chvarkou, as he did in the opening couple of rounds. 3 rounds completely dominated by Tommy Fletcher. The opponent very short of ideas. So much to look forward to on this card. Depth and quality all the way, and a couple of very important figures returning to action tonight. We have missed them and they've missed us from the sound of things, and here comes Archie Too Sharp by a very circuitous route. We will explain later. And if we want to talk about going off the straight and narrow, nobody beats Ryan Garner in British boxing in that respect. But here he is, all smiles, and the way he's told us, it is going to be a whole new start for Ryan Garner. And I will add, it's great to see both of them back. They're big, big talents. Yeah, they've got to show it tonight.
Speed, 1s and 2s, speed.
Seconds out, round 4.
An air of resignation as Viktar Chvarkou comes out of the corner. He knew he was in against the good one. He gets paid for trying to stay in there as long as possible and give Fletcher a few problems to solve at least.
He's been hurt a couple of times in this contest, Paul, so far, Chvarkou, but he's come through it. So I think you heard Mark Tibbs there. He wants him to get back to throwing 1-2s and jabs. He wants to break the opponent down behind his boxing. That's what Mark Tibbs wants, so let's see if Fletcher can do that. Certainly mixed it up here and there, Tommy Fletcher, in this contest, and taken the odd risk himself on the inside, but he's come through. But now I think Mark Tibbs wants him to get back to the boxing and break the opponent down with your long reach, in and out with the feet, behind that jab like he's doing now. You see, it's taking less risks when you box like that, Paul, using your height, your reach, nice long jab, straight left hand. There's a big gap between you and your opponent, and you can break him down like that. This is better.
6'7" tall, and the reach to match. Perhaps trying to walk Chvarkou onto something at the moment. Went to Wembley last September. It was the 4th round that he put Alberto Tapia away in. A lot of the other fights, of course, have ended before now. Just the one distance event against Darryl Sharp, that was only a 6-rounder against the very durable Sharp. And he needs more rounds than he's been getting, and tonight at least that purpose is being served.
Yep, served so far. And against Darryl Sharp, it went 6 rounds. He probably needs a few more of those type of contests, learning contests indeed, against the likes of Darryl Sharp, who's very experienced, very difficult to stop, obviously.
And very busy indeed, Richie. Richie actually caught me out because I played a little quiz game with him before the start tonight. Darryl Sharp, since he fought Tommy Fletcher, I said to Richie, how many times do you think he's fought in the 14 months since then? And Richie wasn't fooled. You were out by 1 month. The correct answer is 27 times, which is quite extraordinary, isn't it?
Yeah, it is indeed. But those type of opponents, Paul, real good journeymen like that, yeah, they're worth their weight in gold to a young fighter like Tommy Fletcher.
He fought Callum Johnson, didn't he? I think at the end of last year.
Yeah, tough kid indeed.
Still looking for top gear Fletcher, but in command once more. So we've seen Ryan Garner and Archie Sharp arriving, and it's also a very, very big night for Nathaniel Collins from Scotland. I've got to tell everybody there were a few smiles as he and his team came in after the result of the Old Firm game earlier today. They hope it's the first part of a big win double for them tonight. And international opponent from Italy, Francesco Grandelli, who has fought in very good class at European level. He is the man standing in the way of Nathaniel Collins tonight.
Corners, 10 seconds. Seconds out, round 5.
So now, can Tommy Fletcher press on? 6 stoppage wins in the 7 before tonight. No harm if it goes the distance, Richie?
No, I don't think so. He's boxing sensibly at the moment, and he's looking dangerous with a lot of his shots, actually, Tommy Fletcher. So, yeah, it's a fair performance up to now. To get a stoppage, it would be the icing on the cake, but up to now, I've been quite impressed with him. Doing it behind his boxing, listening to his corner. If he can just go through the gears a little bit more, then he may force the stoppage here.
You see, we can't have it both ways, Richie. Everybody was looking him 3-4 fights in and saying, well, he's exciting, but can he actually box? Now he's boxing, and there will be 1 or 2 people watching. Nobody, incidentally, in the hall here is crabbing this at all. But maybe people watching on TNT Sports tonight will say, well, where's the little bit of TNT from Tommy?
You have to remember, Chvarkou has only been stopped twice in the 12 victories, so he's a fairly tough opponent indeed. Got a couple of decent boxes on his record also, so he's no pushover, this kid.
Indeed.
And, you know, and he's been hurt, like I said, a couple of times, and he's come through it. So Tommy Fletcher's had to regroup and start again. And let's see if he can force a stoppage. That would be an impressive victory.
Chvarkou's goal is the final bell tonight, but in the second half of this fight, Rich, every time there's been a sense that Fletcher might start to storm forward. It's just that little half step back again there by Chvarkou, which means that Tommy's got to reset. That's smart by him, actually, isn't it?
Yes, it is. He just made a mistake there, Tommy Fletcher. Doesn't want to be throwing that left hand from too far out. He fell short. He nearly got caught with the shot. That's when you have to use the jab even more to measure the distance and gap. Look at that for a right hook. That's not too far away, was it? That was a good punch from Fletcher.
Right in the Fletcher corner. Let's see if he can pour it on here. Well, managed actually by Chvarkou. Back into the centre of the ring. Tommy tucks that chin down into the shoulder. All these things, these details that it's obvious to me, Rich, they've been working on every single day of the week in the Tibbs camp.
Yes, because even on the inside, you see Tommy Fletcher gets his hands fairly high, his elbows tucked in. Remember, he's got a large torso, hasn't he? So the opponent can target that, but he keeps them elbows tucked in on the inside, Tommy Fletcher.
Very well spotted indeed, Richie. That little nuance to it, thank you. You can see the target and plenty of it, but you can't actually hit it.
Yeah, exactly.
Not quite with the right hand, not quite detonating it.
No. He just has that tendency, doesn't he? If he misses with the left hand, he's going to come back with the right hook, Tommy Fletcher.
So it's not exactly a revelation to say he's 5-0 up here, Fletcher. He's made all the running from the off. But Chvarkou has survived quite cannily. Some of these close-ups actually show us the little nuances in his defensive work. And moreover, Rich, he hasn't panicked when the pressure has come on from Fletcher. But no. I think Mark Tibbs would probably say, right, let's engage top gear now.
Yeah, I agree.
Corners, 10 seconds. Seconds out, 6th and final round.
So Fletcher again from the centre of the ring, behind the southpaw lead. Sometimes in jobs like this for the opponent, in inverted commas, Rich, there's a sense that they know they're going to get to the finish line after a certain point, but I don't think that is the case with Chvarkou. He's still extremely wary, isn't he?
He is indeed. Staying on the outside. Trying to keep his distance. That's a nice body shot downstairs. Left hand there from Tommy Fletcher. Like to see him come back with that right hook.
And of course, if it goes in the book as a points defeat, Tommy Fletcher, that's probably worth a few quid for the next job, isn't it, to him?
Yeah, absolutely. But again, he's just going through. That's a lovely shot on the inside there. It's that little left uppercut, found the target. So he's just going through the gears now. And this is better now from Tommy Fletcher. Like I say, this would be for an icing on the cake if he can get the stoppage here.
Keep working, they say, keep working. Turns up the wick again, Fletcher. Amy Pugh gives Chvarkou a breather with the finish line for him almost in sight.
That left uppercut working on the inside well. Fletcher closing the gap down, taking risks himself, but look, we've spoke about the guard. Look how high the guard is. He's just trying to find that left uppercut on the inside again. Now going back long range behind that jab. Yeah, good work.
Certainly got time still to do it here, Fletcher. The big shots through this fight have not really landed flush on the target. That's probably why we are heading toward a distance fight.
Yeah, and this is where you need to just take half a step back, Paul, create a bit of space, work the jab again to find that big left hand. But nevertheless, it's going to be a point of victory for Fletcher, but this has been a good performance, I think.
So Chvarkou sees it through to the end, well pleased. He took a great deal of punishment and he's feeling it, but he'll be delighted to be able to walk away from the York Bethnal Green and on into the next job somewhere soon. Tommy Fletcher makes it 8 straight wins as a professional and goes the distance for only the 2nd time. Richie, over to you.
I thought it was a good last round for him. There's that left uppercut, so that found the target, and you can just look at Chvarkou there grimacing in pain. He's a tough kid, he really is. Hurt several times in this contest and in the last round a couple of times. But I thought it was a good end to the contest for Fletcher. He went through the gears, he couldn't quite find the knockout shot, but nevertheless, over the 6 rounds, I think they'll be really pleased, Mark Tibbs, Jimmy Tibbs in that corner with that performance.
Build credit in the bank for Chvarkou. Invite Chvarkou out into the middle, and here's Dev Sunny.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 6 rounds of boxing, your referee scores the contest 60-54 to your winner, Tommy, the Norfolk Nightmare Fletcher!
So back to the gym on Monday, a work in progress. The hype is never helpful, and maybe it will burn some of it off when he has to go the distance. Who knows how important those rounds will come to be in a year or 2 or 3. And we almost got through the entire coverage of the fight without mentioning Alois Jr. But here, I did it right at the end, didn't I, Richard?
You did indeed.
Becky.
Had to sneak that one in there, didn't they? But look, a win tonight for Tommy Fletcher. He stopped 6 of the last 7, went the distance, but I don't know, did he show a different side of it? Maybe a bit more patient side of him tonight?
Yeah, he was definitely patient tonight. It looks like it was probably a conversation